mode.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I know nothing about flying, but there's one thing I do know. You're the only one on this plane who can possibly fly it.
All right, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Good to be with you on this Thursday. Another day, maybe one of the last days of Coaching Surge 2019. And I think plane tracking season might be over. I think the holiday lasted about 3 days, 4 days. We'll give it Sunday, and it appears that if you believe what you're reading, that most of the interviews, if not all of the interviews, for Arkansas's open coaching job for football they're complete. And now the only question is, who is the first choice? Whether or not that first choice is going to accept an offer, and whether or not that first choice has a game to coach in Championship Saturday at whatever level it is, and then build your staff. And I guess, first you got to say yes. And the smoke just continues to circle around Lane Kiffin, who got some questions yesterday, or also earlier this week, that kept coming from the local media in South Florida, of which there's lots of local media for sports in South Florida. Not too many of them paid attention to Florida Atlantic football. And seemingly one of the only reasons they even started to is because Lane Kiffin took over there and puts together a nice 3-year run in which he's going for a second Conference USA championship in 3 years. So if he's the guy, you're going to have to wait until Sunday. And, that would also be the case with, I think, some other schools that are looking for coaches, because Ty Richardson, this Saturday, it's really amazing. Coaches will leave before bowl games, but they won't leave before conference championships. And, I mean, look, the SEC championship, it's a big game. There's no doubt about it, but there's always going to be the thought that you want to be a national title. And if you're playing in the SEC, that's what you want to play for at the end of the year. When you're playing in Conference USA, in the American Athletic Conference, in the Sun Belt, stepping stone conferences, essentially, when it comes down to it for coaches that are looking to climb, then the bowl games don't really matter too much. You get a chance to win a conference championship, and then you say peace. And that's what's probably going to happen this coming weekend. Not just, I think it'll happen at Arkansas, but I think in a couple of other spots too.
And you mentioned earlier this week, Phil, how it's funny how some of these supposed candidates are lining up and playing this weekend, whether it's Norvell and Luke Fickell in the American Athletic Championship, whether it's Bill Clark and Lane Kiffin in the Conference USA Championship. It's funny that people associate those names, more fans than media members, that these guys have a chance to be the next Arkansas head coach. And we've seen a couple different candidates kind of go by the wayside with signing extended deals. Yeah, Matt Campbell at Iowa State signed his extension. Mike Leach, that's some breaking news, has just signed an extension out in Pullman for Washington State.
When did this come out?
Just before the show, John.
We get a chance to break a little news here to a lot of listeners, because here's the thing. I think Leach, that was a name that a lot of people were pointing to, that at least that's the sort of coach they wanted. The press conferences, the points, the offense, the yards, the craziness, and the success at Outposts in two Power 5 conferences. But apparently it's not going to happen at Arkansas. If he signs an extension at Wazoo, he's probably finishing his career at Wazoo.
And this is not a reported extension. This is something that the Washington State football account put out on their Twitters. This is no report. This is no hearsay. This is about as clear-cut as it gets when it comes to coaches signing an extension. So now it leaves you more and more people thinking. I think the Lane train, Phil, as of late, despite what he's going to say to ESPN West Palm and the Florida media, has really picked up steam when it comes to Arkansas. And until you see an announcement, I'm not going to make the assumption that he's going to be the Arkansas head coach, regardless of how much fire, how much smoke is surrounding him, it seems like. But it really seems like that more Arkansas fans are trending in the direction that he's going to be your next head football coach.
So with this is the second time this week that Mike Leach has been hired, but it's the first time it's the real thing. A lot of people bought into what came out. When was that? Sunday, that Mike Leach was going to be the new head coach at Ole Miss. Can I just say I could not think of two more different groups of people than Mike Leach, who is a group of people in and of himself, and Ole Miss athletics. I didn't see it work in that. I think it would have worked much better at Arkansas, but obviously he's a better fit at Washington State right now than anywhere else.
Phil, you and I, especially when the baseball teams meet on the dime, we've talked about the preppiness of Ole Miss, and there's like a level of preppiness with each SEC school. And again, this is the pot calling the kettle black since I went to a private school in high school, but there is just like an extra umph, an extra level with Ole Miss, their fans, how they go about things in a number of different sports that resonates a certain factor. And like you're saying, Mike Leach does not seem like he would mold well, because one of the things that has been issues with Mike Leach in the past is his conflict with major boosters and board members, both at Washington State and at Texas Tech. Do you really think he's going to have cocktails and have hottie toddies down there and just really get to know some of those boosters and those type of people down at Ole Miss? Yeah. I'm with you 100%. I just don't think that would be a good connection and a quality connection.
Would have been funny just
yeah,
to
it would
think
have been
about.
funny, absolutely, 100%.
Very funny.
But it just doesn't make sense. I think now, again, Arkansas has some preppiness to it, like a Southern SEC school, but it has more of a blue-collar feel as a football program than Ole Miss does, not just in football, but in any sport in general, Phil.
So let's see here. Mike Leach extends his contract through the 2024 season, and Pat Chun says he's established continued a culture of success at Washington State, both academically and athletically, that few have matched. And, of course, you got to throw in that academic part because he also teaches a course on insurgent warfare and football coaching. These two things go together, which really was, I guess, his whole philosophy of coaching football to begin with. So, no Mike Leach at Arkansas. I do think that's probably, other than, we don't hear about Houston Nutt anymore. Now you talk about Nutt being maybe a candidate at UTSA. Mm-hmm. You're not hearing too much anymore about the thought of Barry Lunny becoming the head coach. No returning of Bobby Petrino. All of these names that really just get tossed around because they had been names that were in the back of your mind for years. Not going to happen, and it's not going to be Mike Leach. So, who's it going to be? And who that person is it really the first choice of the man who's supposed to be leading the charge here? Now, Julie Cromer-Peoples, when she went through the hiring process as the interim athletic director, there's no way at all that she would have had the sway or the power or, I think, the respect in the Board of Trustees' mind to let her conduct the search the way that she saw fit. That's what made that coaching hire so nuts. You were looking for an athletic director and a football coach at the same time. You're supposed to have the athletic director in place, and then you go hire the football coach. Hunter Yurachek is everybody's basing this upon the hiring of Eric Musselman. Why would you not trust him? It seems he was given a lot of trust by the board then, but of course, I think when it comes to football, the so-called quote-unquote old boys network, Ty, I guess they come out of the woodwork a little bit more when it comes to the pigskin.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fans in this state that really take a lot of pride in this basketball program, but football, particularly Arkansas football, is the lifeline of this state, and everyone has their opinion. Everyone thinks they know who the next coach should be, and then there's the higher-ups, the good old boys network that you're talking about, that actually have a substantial amount of say what happens. Tommy and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. He's under the impression that JCP was a stooge, and it just the interim athletic director, you really don't have a lot of clout and power in that situation. So you probably are just kind of going on the assumption, and we're going to get to this article written by Chris Jackson in the next segment, how much power is Hunter Yurachek have with this football? Is he going to be easily influenced? Can he get his word? Can he get his say? Can he get his guy in the next couple days? We'll see what happens with what ultimately unfolds here, Phil.
Our friends at Breeden Power Sports in Van Buren want to wish you happy holidays. Come on over and take your holiday stress away with a new or used RV. They'll let you pick your deal at Breeden. You get either your sales tax paid, 6 months of no payments, or holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever works best for you, that's also best for Breeden, so you get to pick your deal. Plus, every new RV comes with that sweet and exclusive free maintenance for life. And that's Breeden RV and Power Sports. They're on Alma Highway in Van Buren. Also go to BreedenRVs.com. Your calls and texts today, plus Bob Holt in about 20 minutes. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline. And we'll be right back after this quick break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
A show that lives up to the hype. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
For those of you who are trying to help with the plane tracking, folks, they're not going to be bringing in the new coach on a prop plane.
Nope. Or a crop duster.
Or a crop duster. I've had people screenshot the plane tracking app, and it's like a plane that's taken off from somewhere in Arkansas, from Harrison or whatnot, going down. And I'm like, it's a prop plane.
Nope.
They're not going to be going around on a prop plane with the coaching search.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, I'm Serafin from La Huerta. Here we like everything caliente. We have daily, lunch, and dinner drink specials. Happy hour every day from 2 to 6. Check it out. Football and drink specials all season. Voted best of the best Mexican restaurant and best of the best margarita. We have over 15 TVs for your viewing pleasure. We have 4 locations to serve you. Open 7 days a week. La Huertas. Eat until you hurt. In Fort Smith. La Huertas.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Save up to $2,700 or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The holiday sale is going on right now. Every hot tub in stock is on sale with over 60 luxury spas to choose from, and they start at just $26.95. Right now is the time. This includes delivery, cover, and startup chemicals. Stay warm and cozy this winter in your brand new hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. It's the perfect gift for you and your family. And right now, up to $2,700 off or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub. And as part of the holiday sale, check out the full line of big green eggs and accessories at Burton Pools and Spas. It's the holiday sale going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Got that hard to buy for guy that thinks he has everything, but he doesn't? Let Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road truck and Jeep repair facility, help. Whether it's as simple as a lift kit or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang and set your guy up with the perfect Christmas gift. They also make it easy with gift certificates for stocking stuffer ideas. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
In the moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In the moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 and online KohlerGreen.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Oh, Harris attacks. I told you. Hot sauce. Extra hot. Habanero.
And we roll along on this Thursday. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson. We want to get with you if you get with us. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Good for a call or a text today. And we're talking about Lane Kiffin. We're talking about possible head coach at Arkansas. We talked about Mike Leach, who will not be the next head coach at Arkansas or anywhere else except for Washington State. And this all going to come down in the next couple of days. Give it till Sunday. And there is the thought, and I think we see here from one of our listeners that Justin believes, as quite some others believe, that since Mike Leach stayed at Washington State, that means Arkansas has their coach. And he thinks that Leach was waiting on Arkansas to make a decision before he would make a decision. So that would have made – do you think that means Leach would have been second choice? We had another one that thought that that Eli Drinkwitz would be the second choice, although Mark in Jonesboro says Drinkwitz gives me those Stan Heath vibes. I guess that's in reference of taking over somebody else's program and having a run with it. I'll say this, and I guess I would have felt the same way about Heath at Kent State, but Appalachian State beating South Carolina and North Carolina in the same year.
It's pretty impressive.
That is. That definitely is. Although just 1 year, but that's where you get those Heath vibes from.
And I think, was it Heath that took South Florida to the Elite Eight that 1 year, and then that's who Arkansas. I believe that is correct when I say that. Is he maybe Kent State? It was one of the two, but
it was Kent State.
It was Kent State. Okay.
Yeah.
So
pretty sure he had Antonio Gates as a power forward.
Yeah, that's that helps. But you think about Drinkwitz, obviously the Alma connection, Springdale and stuff. Hutch loves him because I think Hutch played for them at Springdale High School, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to correlate to being a good
Hutch played for him?
I'm pretty sure.
Wouldn't that be interesting if you're a media member that ends up covering your own high school head coach as the major college head coach in the state later on?
So I think he was an assistant at Springdale High School. Don't hold me to that 100%, but I think that is correct in what I'm saying because I remember talking to Hutch about this for a little bit. You know, I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's correct in what I'm saying, but Bill, that would be a very interesting relationship where your high school coach is all of a sudden the coach at the University of Arkansas, and you're having to interact with him and cover him on a daily to weekly basis.
All right, let me go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. I had Steven on hold for a bit. Sorry about that, Steven. I lost my my call screening software there for a moment. He's in Colorado Springs. Steven, you got a little
no worries.
Got a little snow on the ground?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. The snow's not trapping your voice. Don't worry.
Okay. Cool. I just had a quick point. Love you guys' show, by the way. I listen to it on my podcast because obviously I can't get it on the radio out here. But I just wanted to talk about, I've seen a lot on Twitter and on you guys' calls and stuff, people wanting the Eric Musselman of football, to be our football coach, essentially, someone passionate, whatever. But I was just wondering what you guys think the comparison between our football and basketball programs would be. I mean, you look at the in-state talent, you got 5 top 100 players in basketball, and I'm assuming 0 in football. So, I don't know, I guess I'm just wondering if I'm the only one that's happy with our football team being a, 7-5, I guess 6-6 to 8-4 type team. as long as the basketball is, top 20 consistently week to week. So just wanted to talk about that and see what you guys think. I mean, I just don't really understand the people that have the same expectations for our football and basketball program. I just don't think that's reasonable. I'll hang up and listen.
Well, let's see. And again, he said he couldn't get the show out there, so how can you hang up and listen? I don't know if those things work necessarily
I think he's,
well, Steve.
probably on our video live stream.
Okay, he's on the live stream.
He's still on hold, so he can listen through the phone.
All right, so to react to that, success in both of those sports doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. In fact, it isn't. But I understand your point about the level of expectations. I mean, what do you compare last year's Arkansas basketball season to in terms of football? That's why I remember equating, I think about a year ago, going to the Liberty Bowl, going to the I Bowl, the Music City Bowl. Those are essentially the NIT of college football. And that's the Texas Bowl too. That's where you ended up under Brett Bielema. You were an NIT program. And it's not acceptable in basketball to be an NIT program. It feels to me, as long as you're making a bowl game, once you worry about the extreme rebuilding project that you've got in front of us, that is Arkansas Razorback football, and you've got to clear out thoughts, I guess, of a bowl game at least for a year or two. Once you stop the bleeding, infuse talent and depth along with a good coaching staff and, so to speak, turn things around, then I feel like, making a bowl game would be good enough for a long time. Because how many years has it been now? Yeah. And then maybe mixing in a Cotton Bowl, maybe mixing in a Citrus Bowl now and again. And, hey, I mean, cross your fingers, cross your eyes and everything else. Maybe compete for an SEC West championship every once in a while. And maybe knock on the door of the New Year's Six Bowls.
I think every 4 to 5 years is not asking too much for an Arkansas football team to compete for an SEC West title. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I agree with a lot of what Steven said, and I've been pressing this for quite some time. And I know a lot of our listeners, they don't want to come to the realization, Phil, that there are actually recruiting disadvantages in football being the head football coach at Arkansas.
Yeah.
But he just addressed it perfectly. You have 5 top 100 basketball kids in the state. 3 of them played in the state. 2 of them, one went to Oak Hill, one went to Monteverdi. But they're still Arkansas kids. And 4 of them, now they're going to school at the U of A unless something happens with 3 of them don't sign or whatever. We know Devontae's that. But that is an important aspect of being a football coach, is having in-state talent. Because people say,
enough in-state talent too. It's just
correct.
Like the numbers don't work in a state like Arkansas's favor, where you need somebody that can at least coach them up and bring in, just be an attractive coach enough to get talent in from neighboring states and even maybe be able to reach into some places where historically you haven't reached into. But there's just, how many? So you got 4 prospects or 4 commits from the state of Arkansas for basketball. Great. If you had just 4 commits from Arkansas for football, you see what I mean? Just like people who say, of course, it doesn't work that way. That's right. Football and basketball are totally different.
Now our text line is blowing up, so I think Steven sparked a little controversy, which is good. But
good for you, Steven. The paycheck's in the mail.
You're exactly right. Because so people say, oh, Ty, what about Dallas? What about Texas? Well, guys, that's 4.5 hours away from Fayetteville. Ty, what about Oklahoma City? It's 3.5 hours away. Tulsa's a little closer, about an hour and a half, and so we know there's some good football programs there. What about Memphis? Well, that's 5. So your recruiting disadvantage is like, oh, Arkansas's good surrounding states. Well, Norman's 30 minutes away from OKC. Norman's closer. You look at some of the Texas schools, they're closer to the Dallas area, so you have those disadvantages. Not to mention, your program is considered to be, by so many college football experts and coaches, in the crapper right now. Now, they won't actually come out and say that. I'm speaking more to the coaches. The national media has no problem trashing Arkansas, considering what they've been the last couple of years. But the coaches can see what's the program that's in disarray right now. That doesn't mean it can't be fixed, but when you actually look at what's happening, what's on the roster and stuff, this is not going to be an easy fix. Basketball comes in, inherits 5 top 100 kids in state, a good roster with some pieces, including probably an NBA first-rounder in Isaiah Joe. Plus, it's easier to turn around a basketball program than it is football, Phil.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
So the basketball program in its state right now compared to the football program, I 100% agree with Steven's point, should be better consistently year after year. I have no problem saying that. I know people might be frustrated with that idea, but it's just true, man. The basketball team should be better consistently, more consistently than the football program.
Speaking of basketball, by the way, Kent, it was Kent State, the Stan Heath coach, that in 2002, his only season as a head coach before replacing Nolan Richardson, of all people. 30 wins, 6 losses. It was Antonio Gates. They brought him to the Final 8. And, boy, I mean, and talk about expectations here, how time changes expectations. Heath fired after making the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row, just not making it past the first round. Mike Anderson would have probably kept his job if Arkansas basketball was in the NCAA tournament last year. It's just interesting how things change over the course of time. And again, a good call there, Stephen. Thanks for ginning people up a bit. Our calls and texts on the text line brought to you by Cherokee Casino. Let's see. Let's get to some of these things here. We got an 870 text says, give me an 8-win season every year, 10 wins once out of every 5 years, and I'll be a happy Razorback football fan. Of course, that'll get you fired in probably like at least 4 schools in the SEC. 8 wins every year, once out of 5 years, 10 wins. That doesn't hit the chalkboard in Alabama, in LSU, in Florida, or in Georgia, and maybe not even at Auburn when you see whatever Gus is dealing with. Isn't that amazing? But those are realistic expectations for Arkansas to be a consistent 8-win team every year.
And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility because you saw it with I know Houston had the back-to-back losing seasons, but he had some of those years. You saw some years under Bobby Petrino. I just don't think that. But when you heighten the expectations to they should be competing for the SEC West year after year, Phil, that's where your fandom is getting the best of you. That's when you're not thinking logically and you're just thinking, oh, we should do this. No, it's not the case anymore. This is not the same football program that a lot of our listeners grew up watching.
I got expectations for an ice cold Coors Light sometime this weekend. Ty, I know you do too.
Ice cold Coors Light. It is the official beer of Saturday mornings. We're going to tell you a little bit more about it on the other side of the break, Phil.
All right, we have Bob Holt coming up with us after the break. Stick around. It's halftime on a Thursday, and we're happy you're with us.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
The biggest discounts ever during the end-of-year sales event at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. 2019 GMC Sierra Denali's. The biggest savings ever. Up to $16,000 off. Only $52,335. The 2020 GMC Terrain. Slash to $21,999. And the 2019 Buick Encore. The lowest price ever. Only $16,999. The biggest savings ever during the end-of-year sales event at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Art's Barbecue Burgers and More wants to help you feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Art's smoke or deep fry your turkey or ham. Art's has affordable packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop off your turkey or ham, and we will take it from there. Art's Barbecue Burgers and More is much more than their famous barbecue and burgers. During the holiday season, let Art's cater everything, from breakfast to dessert. Art's Barbecue Burgers and More, next to Aaron's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
It's cold outside. Did you know many natural gas appliances can operate even when the power is out? Natural gas fireplaces, gas logs, space heaters, ranges, grills, outdoor lights, and backup generators will operate when you need them the most. Install efficient, safe, and reliable natural gas appliances today. It's the right choice. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com to experience the benefits of natural gas today. AOG. Energy for life.
Make this Christmas a Christmas they'll never forget with the late model extra clean vehicle from Hertz Car Sales. Find your special loved one the gift that makes Christmas last for thousands and thousands of miles. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard today and find there's no better way to buy your next vehicle just in time for Christmas. Call them today at 783-1722 or check out the great selections of vehicles in stock at buyfromhertz.com. Merry Christmas from Hertz Car Sales. What are you waiting for?
This is ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones out between the circles. They've got Anderson out fronting him. Joe inside feeds Witt for a baseline jam. Joe drew the defense. Witt floated the baseline, and the Hogs are up by 3.
We'll go to the Cherokee Casino hotline in just a moment to talk with the one and only Bob Hope from the Democrat Gazette. Halftime is brought to you by our coldest possible beer. It is Coors Light.
Yeah, it's the world's most refreshing beer, and it is conference championship this weekend. So it's the official beer of Saturday mornings. There's going to be football all day long this weekend. Go to your favorite gas station, stop by your favorite bar, and get an ice-cold Coors Light. Cold filtered, cold package, and cold lagered in that cold activated can where you know when the mountains turn blue. Phil, what are you supposed to do?
You know, aside from going to Bob Holt, you go for 2.
Exactly right. And as we do that, let's go to Bob.
Hey, Bob, what's up? How you doing?
How you guys doing? You know, listening to that, when I was in college in Missouri, I think it was like illegal to take Coors over out of Colorado or west of the Rockies or something like that. But I remember if you had Coors in Columbia, Missouri, it was like contraband stuff. You weren't supposed to have it, but it sort of made it even more popular, I guess, because people thought they weren't supposed to have it, so they really craved it.
He's so right. This is the basis of the movie Cannonball Run. That's exactly what the movie's about. You know, Burt Reynolds going to get the beer that you can't have this side of the Rockies. You were literally not allowed to have it. That's some good stuff, Bob. That's early halftime homework for our friend Ty Richardson.
Yeah, you wonder what kind of America we were living in back then, you know?
I know. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, by the way, the holiday that we're celebrating today is Repeal Day, which is the 21st Amendment disavowing the 18th Amendment. So I think alcohol was reestablished on this day back in whatever. So there's a bunch to celebrate today. Bob,
obviously there wasn't sports radio, you know, when the Prohibition was around.
Yeah, and Bob, your story kind of reminds me. I've told Phil this before. Coors Light wasn't contraband on the U of A campus, but it was contraband if you were a freshman. But that's all I drank freshman year, and still continue to drink. So it's kind of like you were saying. You just go about certain things certain ways, even though you might not supposed to.
Smokey and the Bandit. That's what it was. I thought Cannonball Run. I'm getting my Burt Reynolds movies mixed up here. Pardon me. Thanks, Red, on the text line. All right, Bob. So let me give you a choice here. Do you want to go? I'm not going to ask you rumors and stuff like. Do you want to go rumors with football coaching stuff, or do you want to go basketball with actual games and a team that's playing on Saturday?
I just didn't talk about basketball.
Okay.
It's okay with...
Perfect. This game's going to be. This is probably the most interesting game of the year in the non-conference, I think, for Arkansas, because you're on the road. Western has played better teams than Arkansas. They're 6-3. They lost last year to them. Bassey is a future NBA guy. He's big. Arkansas doesn't have size. This will be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I was just looking up. I think there's Western Kentucky's got 3 starters back who combined to score 58 points in Walton Arena last year. And, of course, Bassey was the guy that really hurt the Hogs. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 5 block shots, and that was going against Daniel Gafford, who had a pretty good game himself. But Bassey was, I guess if they had a duel, you'd have to give it to Bassey, and the Hilltoppers were winning. And now, obviously, Arkansas doesn't have Daniel Gafford. He's off to the NBA. Bassey tested the waters, went to the Combine. I think he was maybe projected as a late second-round pick, so he came back. He's having another real good season. And Arkansas, they face some guys that have some height. They haven't faced anybody like Bassey, so it's going to be a huge challenge for their interior defense to see how they can try to contain him somewhat.
And it's pretty obvious, at least up until this point. We keep hearing or saying sooner or later the shots will fall. They fell a little bit in the last game against Austin Peay, but it's nothing that they can hang their hat on. This team can hang their hat on defense, on forcing turnovers, and really, I think a lot of their offense, it's about a third of their points, is coming off of turnovers. So this is a defense-first team. You heard a lot that's what Mike Anderson wanted. Defense into offense. It seems they get a little bit more than that, or much more than that, under Eric Musselman.
Yeah, it's a different style. Mike obviously, came with a Nolan Richardson background, and they pressed a lot. Didn't press maybe as much as some people might think. They pressed a lot. They did a lot of trapping, and that could leave them vulnerable at times to open. If the other team had some smarts about them and didn't panic and throw the ball in the stands, or worse for them, throw the ball to a Razorback and get a dunk or whatever on the other end. This team plays, I guess, more straight-up defense, I'd call it. I think they're better at closing out, the way they get their arms up. But they've got a lot of live ball turnovers also, and obviously those can get transitioned into easy points. And everybody has trouble going against a set defense, I think. Certainly you'd rather have a break opportunity. And Arkansas's got a lot of good ball handlers because usually they're going to have 4 guards on the floor at any one time, maybe 5, depending on your definition of guards. And so, yeah, they've done a really – now they had – the other night, I think, they had 20 turnovers, and I forgot who they played. Not Northern Kentucky.
Austin Peay.
Austin Peay. Austin Peay. A little brain break there. The coaching search is getting to me. I think Austin Peay had 21 turnovers, so but Arkansas had more live ball. It was a weird game. Jimmy Witt and Mason Jones both got called for palming or carrying the ball, which I don't think I'd seen all year. There was a lot of kind of what I thought were ticky-tack offensive foul calls. The good thing for Arkansas was, it's not good to have 20 turnovers, but very few of those were live ball where the other team can get a break on. Most of them were whistles and dead ball situations. But it was kind of a weird game. I don't know if a certain official is, really has a thing about – because to me, you could probably call palming on every player every game, So that was kind of a weird game. But before that, they'd taken pretty good care of the ball. So that'll be big to win the turnover battle and get some fast break points against Western, I think.
We're speaking with Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette here on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Bob, I know you were in Eric Musselman's post-game press conference on Tuesday night, and he talked about how they had 3 games circled for non-conference games. The Indiana game, the Georgia Tech game, and the Western Kentucky game. They've already beaten Georgia Tech in a barn burner. They're getting Western Kentucky. Do you think if they win this game on Saturday night that they'll get to conference play undefeated?
I'm sorry, that they'll do what?
They'll get to conference. Do you think if they win this game tonight that they can beat Indiana and the other opponents and get to conference play undefeated?
It's possible. Indiana took care of Florida State pretty good. So that Arkansas, I haven't seen a line on this game. I would think Western would be a slight favorite because, like Phil said, they played a pretty challenging schedule. They lost to number 1 Louisville and Nashville. Wright State, who they lost to by 2 on the road the other night, I think is picked to win their league. So they played a tough schedule. And, Rick Stansbury, he's an old SEC coach, and he's got some – they've also got a bunch of older players. Bassey's a sophomore. They're starting juniors and seniors. So Arkansas might – I'm not sure who's favoring this game. Kind of a toss-up to me, but Arkansas will probably be a definite underdog in Indiana. So I'm not saying they couldn't win in Indiana. Obviously, they split with them last year, each win at home. But that Indiana game, I think it'd be pretty tough for them to win.
Bob, about a minute left on this. So the coaching search going on for football. The basketball team's 8-0, and I know that they've had some tighter games as of late. But do you think they're getting enough credit for starting the season undefeated because of kind of the other side of the coin where so many people are paying attention to what's going on in the football team?
Well, yeah, I think people are excited about this basketball team. I think the crowds have been pretty good. The attendances we see on the box scores that we write about, those are paid tickets or distributed tickets. But I think they are getting a lot of people in the stands, and people are excited about basketball. One, you got a new coach, and 2, you're winning, and they've just been so sick of watching the football team get beat game after game after game. And the coaching search probably does take away from anything any team does. The women's cross country team winning, the women's basketball teams are doing very well. Obviously, Phil knows that. So maybe a little bit. And Arkansas, they've beaten some solid teams. played, Georgia Tech, won at NC State. So that was a good win for Arkansas, and they've been beating some good mid-majors that might win their leagues or certainly challenge for them, but they haven't gone out there and gotten that. Like, if they won Indiana, that would get everybody's attention around the nation, So I think it's a little bit of combination of the coaching search, takes some attention away, and also they played a good schedule, solid schedule, but they haven't played any, ranked teams yet, for instance.
Bob, I know you got a press conference to get ready for over there with the basketball team, so we'll let you go. Always appreciate you joining us. And it's good to be back with you after a couple of weeks.
Okay, you guys take care.
You got it. Bob Holt, the one and only Democrat Gazette sports writer. All right, you only got 5 days left to enter for the holiday trip to Branson. You'll get 3 nights at the Hilton Hotel, tickets to a Christmas show, the North Pole Adventure at the Shepherd of the Hills, a Christmas music Ferris wheel ride at the Track Family Fun Park, and all kinds of restaurant gift cards. You can enter once per day for the next 5 days. The last day to enter is December 10th. All you've got to do is enter your name, email address, and phone number. Enter at hitthatline.com. As long as you're 21 or older, you can enter once per day. So only got 5 more days to worry about that. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. We want your calls and texts when we come back right after this quick break on a Thursday on Halftime.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser. That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more, serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414 and for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560 or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Searching for stocking stuffers for the runners in your life? We have lots of options including socks, headbands, shoelaces, water bottles, gloves, hats, and more. Want to buy them a pair of shoes but not sure about size or model? A gift card is always the perfect size. And you're not just giving a card, you're giving an experience. They'll receive the personal attention and true grit fit we're known for. Find the ultimate gift today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Metal Direct offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Direct assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by their location at 7420 Inmar Drive in Little Rock, 1 block off University behind Napa Auto Parts, or call them at 501-562-3112. Metal Direct, the right material for the right price.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones, 5 seconds, 4 seconds to shoot. Mason kicks it away. Joe, three-pointer good. With 3.8 seconds to play, Joe cans the three.
Speaking of basketball, our entire conversation there with Bob Holt was about basketball, and I think for him, for Bob, you know, Bob doesn't write columns. He's not into giving the opinion on who the fit will be, and that's not his beat right now. His beat is covering college basketball, so that was a little refreshing to do an entire segment without even mentioning a football coaching search. Although, another basketball note, Isaac McBride won't be playing basketball at Arkansas unless he comes in with Vanderbilt, because that's where the former Baptist Prep star and Kansas Jayhawk for a minute will be transferring to. It was a couple of months ago he announces that he was leaving Kansas, and that was before, gosh, I think that felt like it was just as practice began up there. And now he's taking his talents to Nashville, playing for Jerry Stackhouse at Vanderbilt University. Nice get for Vandy when it comes right down to it.
Yeah, the lefty out of Baptist Prep, like you said, started his career at Kansas, didn't end up playing a game there with him transferring before the season after the recruiting stuff came out involving with Kansas. But, yeah, ended up in another SEC school. I don't know if Arkansas offered him the second time around when Musk came in. I'd have to look that up. I don't know if that's even come out or anything yet, but he ends up in another SEC school, so you'll get to see him play. Another Arkansas connection, not just in football, but in basketball, goes elsewhere.
877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline, and we'll have an open second hour with no guests, but we do have halftime homework, in which Ty unwittingly even did his own homework without even realizing it. Hey, there is another coaching search amongst many that is taking place at UTSA, the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio, where Frank Wilson is out after 5 years as the head coach, 4 years as the head coach. And apparently Houston Nutt has, quote, very high interest in the head coach opening at UTSA. You know, and he was able to say the same thing on 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock a month ago about the opening at Arkansas. Remember when there was that uproar about the athletic department contacting him? And he even spoke about it on their morning show. But it really was just a reaching out and kind of an opinion. I think that was part of the opinion tour that Hunter Yurachek and John Fagg must have gone on, speaking to, how to put it, the wise old men of Arkansas football that are still respected amongst the community. That's why that phone call happened. But if you're going to restart your career somewhere as a head coach, and look, this is what Lane Kiffin did at FAU. You go to a lower level school. UTSA is just that. And by the way, there's plenty of talent around UTSA. Oh, who else do you think might be a candidate there? You think Chad Morris might be looking to get that job? Do you think anyone would be looking to hire Chad Morris right now?
I think Bruce Feldman of The Athletic and Fox Sports put out the other day that Chad Morris was potentially a candidate for the Texas OC job because Herman and I can't remember the offensive coordinator's name that he let go, but I also think he fired their DC as well. So that would be very interesting to see Chad Morris at Texas. And I think you're kind of more in the line. I think if he gets back to Texas, he would probably take a smaller head coaching job first. But I think that would be a very interesting situation for not only Texas but Arkansas if your former head coach became the offensive coordinator of the Longhorns, Phil.
You know, there was a texter earlier, and I probably lost track of the text asking about Charlie Strong as a potential coordinator at Arkansas, and I can't think off the top of my head of any instances of a head coach being fired and then for the next season taking a job as a coordinator. Lane Kiffin didn't he have a little time between being let go on the tarmac at USC and taking a job at Alabama? Going as an analyst is one thing. That's not being a coordinator. That's like being a coordinator in waiting.
I have to think about Rich Rod. I think had a year lapse between Arizona and his OC job at Ole Miss. I'd have to think about the coordinators. What about who's their DC? McIntyre? Wasn't he fired at Colorado and now
maybe that's it? I think McIntyre I think he was the coach at Colorado 2018 and then DC at Ole Miss. So by the way, how about that coaching search at Ole Miss, where you're replacing a guy that had no head coaching experience in Matt Luke other than being an interim coach, and you've got two head coaches in waiting who had some successful years at previous schools. I remember thinking that, when the season started. It's not, I guess that, you didn't, as the head coach, maybe you weren't worried about looking over your shoulder and backstabbers or anything like that, but now that the job is open, I mean, it's like you got two ready-made interview candidates right there in your offices anyway.
Yeah, that will probably be both petitioning. I don't know in the minds and the depths of Mike McIntyre or Rich Rodriguez, but, I mean, these are former head coaches that probably want to get back. And I think there's also a report from Football Scoot that Lane Kiffin has also emerged as a head coaching candidate, not only at Arkansas, but Ole Miss as well. So I'm wondering if there's any truth to that. And I think it's fair to say that regardless, unless you're inside the state of Missouri, that most people would say that Arkansas or Ole Miss are battling for the best job in the SEC that's currently open right now. And I just want to know that I've never been a coach of any of the collegiate capacity where my football acumen's off the charts, but I just want to know what coaches think across the board concerning the Ole Miss-Arkansas job, which they view as better and which they feel like they could be more successful long-term. Because the short-term answer is Ole Miss and the roster they have right now. But I'm wondering long-term, you look at Oxford, you look at Vaught Hemingway, you look at Fayetteville, you look at Donald W., you look at the money, you look at a number of different aspects. I think that's really the only comparison you have in the SEC school is down between and that are open right now. I got to put that in there. Between Arkansas and Ole Miss, Phil.
Well, you know where I sit on that, and I do look. Arkansas is a tougher rebuild. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think here's the other reason why Ole Miss goes with one of those coordinators, because half their team apparently, if you believe the reports from this weekend, were willing to quit and transfer to another school. What's one way that you keep your most talented players is you bring one of their coordinators on as the head coach. But maybe if Rich Rod is hired, then that ticks off all of the defensive players. If McIntyre's hired, then the offense is all ticked off. That's just a completely wacky situation over there at Ole Miss. You really can't.
You lose either way.
And the other thing, about Missouri, again, it's a tougher rebuild right now at Arkansas than at Mizzou. And maybe at Mizzou, you're fine being anonymous and not really being known across the state. But at Arkansas, you're the most well-known person in the state. It's the amount of celebrity that goes along with being the Arkansas football coach inside the state is just gargantuan combined next to how you're viewed as the head coach at Missouri, even by Missourians. Yeah, even by the fans.
Yeah,
and the resources at Arkansas are more than you have at Mizzou. The facilities are the same. It feels like it would be. I understand at Arkansas you've got to be able to recruit kids from Arkansas. Yes, and that's part of it. But it would seem that it should be a little bit easier to get talented kids to come to Arkansas from outside the state than to go to Missouri. Just to have a nicer stadium, more hardcore fans, and to be bigger celebrities when it comes down to it. And maybe there's the thought that playing in the SEC West isn't as much of a reason not to come here, because this is the toughest division. This is the best division.
Maybe Saban will retire and make things easier, Phil.
Yeah, he's not going to be there forever.
So, kind of to your point, I had this question posed to me on Twitter based on Miss Lisa's call yesterday, and I guess we can clip that out and play it for those who haven't heard it, but I'm wondering if Lane Kiffin was ultimately hired at the University of Arkansas. It's one thing to be in Boca, coaching FAU, where no one really pays attention to you unless you start really winning football games. That's no disrespect to them. That's just how it is in Florida when it comes to athletics down there. But when you're in Arkansas, similar to what Chad Morris faced when he's here, all eyes are on you. Hunter Yurachek is probably the most polarizing guy in this state currently in Arkansas athletics right now. That instantly switches when you hire a head coach. Can Lane Kiffin handle the pressure, similar to what he did at USC, similar to what he experienced at Tennessee, of being one of the most polarizing guys? It's not USC. USC's you're one of the most popular sports figures in California. Tennessee, one of the most popular sports figures in that state. In Arkansas, you are the guy.
You're the man.
You're the man. You're either absolutely beloved or absolutely
hated. Whether it's right or wrong, I mean, you become a cult figure. That's Houston Nutt was a cult figure on two sides. Bobby Petrino, I was afraid of the Bobby Petrino cult for the 2 years that you were national contenders.
Can you handle that pressure? Does that pressure get to him? Does he flourish or falter under that assumption of being the most important guy in the state of Arkansas? Some people can handle it. Frank Broyles did for a number of years. There's been other guys that have flourished under that, but it's not for everyone. He can fly under the radar at FAU. He might not get the money. He might not get the clout, but he doesn't face the same pressure that he would if he became the new head coach at the University of Arkansas.
Well, I guess not everybody can just be an attention-seeking pig like you and me, Ty, or like all other radio hosts, because that's why we want these microphones, so that you actually pay attention to something that we have to say. And we want to hear something that you have to say on the other side of the break. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Got a couple of notes from the MLB draft, which is in 6 months. Hey, there are some Arkansas kids that are going to be looking at that draft. Stick around, talk about that next.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Alma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
B&J Comfort Solutions provides home comfort and energy solutions to the River Valley, specializing in residential sales, service, and installation, offering only the absolute best customer service around. Call them for any of your service, maintenance, or replacement needs. B&J Comfort Solutions offer an industry-leading 5-year labor warranty on all new system installations. Veteran-owned and operated, and satisfaction is always guaranteed. Contact B&J Comfort Solutions today at 479-646-0284.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888. And online, kohlergreen.com.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The second location for Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is now open. Located on the east side of town on Phoenix Avenue, next to Dollar General and across from Interstate Batteries. Serving that award-winning Memphis-style barbecue and all your favorite sides, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Pickup orders for Whole Hog Cafe Phoenix Avenue can be placed at 646-2495 or at wholehogfortsmith.com. Whole Hog Cafe's second location on Phoenix Avenue is now open.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mostly cloudy sky tonight. An overnight low will drop down upper 30s to low 40s. We'll see a little sunshine through the clouds at times on Thursday. Our high in the low to mid 60s. Scattered rain showers with this. Could see a few isolated thunderstorms, especially south on Thursday night. Overnight lows 40 to 45. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Harry Robinson Buick GMC, where you always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Hey guys, enjoy your show out of all the sports programs in the state. I really enjoy y'all most.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I know nothing about flying. There's one thing I do know. You're the only one on this plane who can possibly fly it.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, I think I got this whole Skype thing figured out so you can see my ugly mug during this show. Is the lighting all right in here? We're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Facebook, and of course all of our radio affiliates. On ESPN Arkansas.
Just
you can also
move
get
to
us
your
hit that line. You want me to move to my left a little bit here, just like that?
Beautiful
can
face.
See that? You mean the shiny top of my
There you
head
go.
that you're looking at right here, Ty? Boy, trying to figure out some internet issues here, but at least the connection that matters most is working, which is this little thing I got strapped to my head. All right, 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Calls and texts today up until 2 o'clock. No guests in the second hour. We will be talking coaching search. We will be talking halftime homework at the end of the hour. Ty Richardson watched Tommy Boy without it being assigned. I feel like such a proud, I was going to say papa, but, older brother.
I got to give Matt Travis
Travis
credit for that because he came in one of these days last week and brought in not only Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but Tommy Boy. And I know that we just missed it. I still haven't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Might watch it tonight. We'll see. But I heard of Tommy Boy. I know that's one of Neighbor's favorite favorite movies, and he's talked about it before. And he showed me the one SNL skit, which I know that we're going to get to in the bottom of the hour, the last segment of the hour, but I never really had much experience with Chris Farley. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was, and I love young David Spade too, as well, Phil.
That is a very young David Spade, and we'll talk about another young David Spade skit with involving Chris Farley also as we go throughout halftime homework later on. All right, 877-377-6963. Cherokee Casino hotline. I mentioned a baseball note, MLB Pipeline, which is MLB.com's official amateur talent website. They do most of the prognostication about the draft and then prospects in each organization, kind of like what Baseball America used to do and still does with their annual draft handbook and prospect handbook. MLB Pipeline kind of mirrors exactly the same things. So, I mean, you talk about Arkansas basketball. The state is a hotbed now of talent, certainly per capita. There's a lot of talent for basketball in Arkansas, more so than football. And I think baseball is right there, probably more so than football as far as talent is concerned for college and for the major leagues. So the draft is, and I don't think the draft has been scheduled just yet. I think it's in 6 months. It's usually around the first or early second week of June. So it's about 6 months away. And both Heston Kjerstad and Casey Martin are listed in the top 15 draft prospects by MLB Pipeline. Kjerstad 12th. Martin must have slipped a little bit because you remember last year, Kendall Rogers at D1 Baseball thought that Casey could be the top overall pick. And that's not to say that he still can't be, but MLB Pipeline's got him as the 14th best prospect for the draft, and specifically pointing to needing to refine his game on both sides, offensively and defensively. So they're probably right about that because the errors are going to have to cut down. The strikeouts will have to cut down, a little bit more contact, but he is still projected as a first-round pick. Now, here's where things really get interesting, and it doesn't have anything to do with the 2020 season. It's about the 2020 recruiting class, which is picked as the best in the country by a couple of national publications, and certainly the Dave Van Horn and Nate Thompson and Matt Hobbs' 2020 recruiting class is unquestionably one of the top three, at the very least, for 2020. So 3 kids from that 2020 committed class are in the top 100 on MLB Pipeline's top 100 draft prospects. Mason Wynn, who's the shortstop right-hand pitcher out of Texas, is the number 45 prospect. Caden Wallace, who's the third baseman out of Greenbrier, is number 79. And Markavian Hentz, right-hand pitcher from Pine Bluff, is number 86. Think about that. I mean, so Casey's from Arkansas, too. Kjerstad's not, though he might as well be now. That's 5 kids from Arkansas, 4 of them who were born and raised here in the top 100 for the MLB draft. Don't tell me Arkansas is not a hotbed per capita for baseball talent, because it's really starting to round into form.
Well, what you've told me is that Dave's really liked how the state's kind of picked up baseball across the board. Like, he's seen the talent develop and really grow inside the state, because we know most of the time football, basketball, baseball programs, they're helped that much more when the in-state talent's good. Now, some brands, Arkansas actually has the luxury now of being a big enough brand in baseball where they can go anywhere and recruit. I mean, Dom's from Cali. Benny was up from, he was up north.
He's from outside Cincinnati.
Yeah, outside Cincinnati in Ohio. I mean, they can go anywhere now because it's Dave Van Horn. It's the Arkansas baseball program. That is a national brand, but it only helps you when your in-state talent's good. I was actually talking to one of the invited walk-ons this past weekend in Little Rock, Zach White, who is out of Robinson. He's a senior at Robinson. He's John David White's little brother. And again, I've told this story before. Our families grew up going to football games together. And I was just kind of talking to him a little bit, wondering about some of these top kids that have potential to get to Arkansas. And he wasn't sure if all of them were going to make it, but Phil, I'm wondering, with these 3 top 100 kids, obviously not Casey and Heston, but what are the chances they actually end up at the U of A? Like, I know you've told me before that Dave has a really good spiel being able to show, hey, this is where you could potentially be drafted, this is where the money you can make, but if you stay here 3 years at Arkansas, this is how much more money I can make you if you develop as a baseball player here. What's the potential on these 3 guys actually making it to campus and playing in a Razorback uniform?
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the circumstances around their families, whether or not the influx of cash immediately means much right now, or if there's also an opportunity that they think to increase their draft stock in the 2 or 3 years that they play for Dave. So, the fact now that major league teams want to hire coaches from college means that you're going to get more kids that stay in college. Because when you get drafted by a major league team, you're not automatically coached by the major league staff. You're coached by minor league staff. And it's not to say these people don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of cook's hands in the stew. You know what I mean? There's an overarching philosophy to how these teams want their pitchers to pitch, want their fielders to field, and their hitters to hit. But there's a lot of opinions that come in, and there's a lot of changes that these kids go through. When you come to Arkansas now, you are now going to be coming to a place as a pitcher, perhaps, for in the case of Markavian Hentz, where 2 major league teams wanted the Arkansas pitching coach to be their pitching coach, not the AA pitching coach, not the minor league field coordinator, the major league pitching coach. The Yankees the Giants, wanted Matt Hobbs. Why would you not want to work under essentially a major league pitching coach as an 18, as a 19, as a 20-year-old, and potentially improve your draft stock in the process? To me, that's why Wes Johnson going to the major leagues, Matt Hobbs being a frontline candidate in major league teams' eyes, this ends up becoming a boon to Arkansas baseball.
And one of the topics that you suggested I go into last week before Thanksgiving, Phil, was the fact that Arkansas, the Broyles Award doesn't have any Arkansas coaches, and really the assistant coaches for the football program haven't done anything the last couple years. You think about the baseball coaches, and I know there's a slew of elements that you can point to why Arkansas baseball has been successful. The fact that you've only really had two coaches, Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn, the longevity of the program, people pouring money in, how nice Baum Stadium is. Vitello, Jorn, Thompson, Nate Thompson, Wes Johnson. I mean, these are really, and they're even, like Matt Hobbs being interviewed for the Giants and Yankees. This is why that not only is getting the next head coach at Arkansas important, but we've seen in the other sports how, like, really good having assistant coaches is for your program, particularly in baseball. That's why it's so important that whoever is hired as the next coach, not only you get that hire right, but the next hire surrounding him, you got to nail as well, Phil.
Well, you know, Ty, this also gets to the conversation we've talked about with Eric Musselman, is that you've got a coach that's been there, knows what it takes to be a professional basketball player, whether it's overseas, the G League, or the league where all the kids wanted to end up going. You know, and Brett Bielema got kids to the majors in the NFL. Houston Nutt did the same thing. You come to the SEC because you want to play in the big leagues of college football and in the big leagues of college basketball and baseball, but you also want to play in the real big leagues. And that's one of the things that Musselman's really got going. All right, we'll continue talking about lots of this stuff. Stick around on Halftime. We're right back.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com. This is the Morning Rush.
For those of you who are trying to help with the plane tracking, folks, they're not going to be bringing in the new coach on a prop plane.
Nope. Or a crop duster.
Or a crop duster. I've had people screenshot the plane tracking app, and it's like a plane that's taken off from somewhere in Arkansas, from Harrison or whatnot, going down. And I'm like, it's a prop plane.
Nope.
They're not going to be going around on a prop plane with the coaching search.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Get a $100 Visa gift card when you sign up for Dish right now with World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH.
Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH, or go to our website, wowfastinternet.com, and check out all the specials. But right now, this weekend, $100 Visa gift card, free installation, rates less than $60 a month. You can get one TV, $59.99 a month, and that rate is guaranteed for the next 2 years.
If you're military or a first responder, you get extra channels at no extra charge.
Yeah, come by and see us. We're at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue. Military and first responders get 9 additional channels. Military and first responders get 9 additional channels. Free pay-per-view movie every month, but you got to call us at 877-305-DISH to take advantage of this offer.
Plus, you can get 3 TVs in the house for as low as $75 a month, 1 TV in the house for as low as $59 a month when you call WOW now. 877-305-DISH. Also ask about bundling high-speed internet when you call World of Wireless with your Dish service. 2-year price guarantee, they have it all at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH for WOW. World of Wireless.
We wish you happy holidays from Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale continues. The holidays can be stressful. Why not take that stress away with the newer used RV? We'll even jingle your bells by letting you pick your deal. Sales tax paid, no payments for 6 months, holiday cash back, more for your trade. You choose the deal that's best for you. Remember, every new RV comes with Breeden's exclusive free maintenance for life.
Clark, it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Thanks, Eddie. Come see us on Elma Highway in Van Buren or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com.
See dealer for details.
Wiedeker Village Wine and Spirits is your full-service liquor store at exit 41 off I-40. Wiedeker Village Wine and Spirits has all your favorite brands of beers and craft beers, plus wines and spirits, all at great prices. And no one has more Arkansas wines, including Wiedeker's award-winning wines. Plus, they have a convenient drive-thru. It's not just a stop, it's an experience. Open 7 days a week. You heard that right. Sundays, too. Wiedeker Village Wine and Spirits, your full-service liquor store at exit 41 off I-40.
The list of things I rely on is short. There's my recliner, the lawnmower, the kid sitter, and above all, Michelin tires. Get the tire that's ready to make every stop in every season. And for a limited time, get yours with a $70 reward card after submission when you buy a set of 4 new Michelin passenger or light truck tires. Your Michelin tires and savings are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
See MichelinMan.com promo for complete details. Offer valid between 11/13/2019 and 12/13/2019. Void where prohibited.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Joe keeps possession, 5 to shoot, needs some help, away to Sills. Desi finds Witt, Jimmy to the basket, shot no good. Bailey with a follow as the shot clock expired. They count the bucket.
Breeden RV in Van Buren wants to wish you happy holidays. They'll help you take your holiday stress away with a new or used RV and let you pick your deal, your choice of either sales tax paid by Breeden, 6 months of no payments, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever deal works for you, that'll work for Breeden as well. And, of course, you get that sweet Breeden RV exclusive free maintenance for life with every new RV purchase. That's Breeden RVs. They're on Alma Highway in Van Buren, also on the web at BreedenRVs.com. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson, and the Cherokee Casino Hotline open today, especially in this second hour, 877-377-6963. Football Scoop got into the rumor mix about Arkansas football coaching earlier today because why not when your website is called Football Scoop? This is your month of the year. This is your week of the year. And they reported earlier, last hour, that Ole Miss is getting in on the Lane Kiffin, can you call it a sweepstakes now? Because it appears that if he might be Arkansas's #1 target, well, he's also a target of Ole Miss. But again, Football Scoop was where the Butch Davis stuff came from. Was it Butch Davis? No, Butch Jones. I'm sorry. It was the Butch Jones stuff.
Butch Jones, yeah. Stephen Godfrey of SB Nation reported that. Butch Davis has been I can't remember.
He's FIU. I mean, talk about a guy who's coached against Lane Kiffin a little bit.
Yeah, that sources come out as well. So there's just so much. There's so many moving targets right now when it comes to not only the Arkansas coaching opening, but coaching openings across college football. And what's really was the most surprising to me is Clay Helton managed to keep his job.
Right.
I felt like
it was the craziest thing. It was like all year long, especially, what were they, 3-3? Especially going 3-3 to start the season. It just felt like it was a foregone conclusion.
And they did beat Utah, who's could be on its way to the college football playoff, and they did beat their rival UCLA, but that's not the USC that is the people have come to expect. You expect USC to compete for national championships, really under Pete Carroll. I couldn't tell you any other USC head coach outside of that, but I think really people that are frustrated. I know I have one friend that went there, and she does not like Clay Helton whatsoever, and I feel like that's the same case for many USC fans, Phil.
Well, one thing is for certain: whoever the next head coach is has got to build themselves a pretty good assistant staff. Anybody needs a good staff, and so connections have got to be part of it. Looks like that's what Eddie wants to talk about. Eddie's on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Eddie in Clarksville. Hey, Eddie, how you doing, man?
Good afternoon. Hi.
You're exactly right. Because I called in on a morning rush. Eddie from Clarksville has borrowed Santa's sleigh. And I want Mr. Yurachek to go along with me. And I'm bringing the bells. And the first bell we're going to stop at on Santa's sleigh is Memphis, Tennessee. And we're saying, Mr. Novell, what's the door today? And if he turns it down, the second, then we're going to South Florida. And we're not coming back without either Coach Lavelle or Mr. Lane Kiffin. We're getting one of them, and then whoever jumps aboard when we write the check, then the next stop we're going to South Florida to Mr. Kelly Strong, and we're going to say, Coach Strong, what's it going to take for you to be our defensive coordinator? Because we're going to write the check right now. We're going to be winning back to the U of A, and you can help get our defense lined out. And then our last stop is at Georgia. And I'm ringing a bell when Santa Slade lands. I'm saying, Mr. Yurachek, got the check to Mr. Pittman and say, come back to the U of A because you cannot win. What's it going to take? You don't use your staff. No doubt about it. And I'm telling you, this staff can get the job done. And we're going to ensure whether it's Kiffin. I'll tell you another coaching. We might go to Baylor. And Mr. Matt Rule, what's it going to take if we can't get Kiffin, if we can't get Lavelle? But we're bringing back somebody that's going to put the fence in the stands. And we're bringing winning. You can win at the U of A. You bet that. Look at, I said this morning, look at Texas. Fired their whole staff. And traditionally, I said this, the reason I bring up Texas, one of the most storied programs in the history of college football, and they cannot win because they do not make a commitment to their coaches, getting the right coaching staff in place. You can win at Texas, no doubt about it. You can win at the U of A. And by the way, the Arkansas is still one of the most storied programs in the country. And we can win at the U of A, but you got to get the staff right. And so far, look at the 8 years, 10 years in this program. I mean, you so take a stand to get the job done. We got the checkbook. We got the money in the Razorback family. Look at the money that you're losing every game. I mean, you're losing $1 million or $2 million a game.
Well, I understand what you're saying here, Eddie. What you got to do is you got to spend money to make money, right? If you're going to spend money to get a good staff, if you're going to spend money to get a good head coach, then hopefully that pays some dividends in the end.
And I don't know about his assumption that Arkansas has the money. Again, we don't know the financial situation concerning the Razorback Foundation. Everyone just assumes that with all the Fortune 500 companies, Jerry Jones, Walmart, everything else, that Arkansas is just financially backed as far as it can get. But we just don't know. So Hunter Yurachek obviously got clearance to let go of Chad Morris, and they felt like they'd be financially stable enough to not only pay his buyout. We'll see what happens with this court case in Bielma. But I don't think fans or anyone else for that matter could just assume that Arkansas can throw bucos of money at whoever they want. That's just, I don't know how feasible or how realistic that is because we don't have the financial documents and the actual dollar amount in front of us what Arkansas can afford. You can speculate all you want, Phil, but until you actually see a dollar figure associated with the Razorback Foundation, until you actually know what's going on behind the scenes, I don't think you can just assume that whatever money that you want to pay these guys is out there and can be reached and ultimately paid to the assistant coaches and the head coach itself, Phil.
Well, didn't I see a report, a number thrown out there about $10 million and this was thrown out as an idea of $10 million to Lane Kiffin for him and whatever staff he wants to put together. So it seems like a pretty hefty number. So at that point, what do you do? I mean, you're paying your staff, but you want to pay yourself. Again, this was just a number that I'd seen thrown out there. I think in a story. It might have been in the Palm Beach Post. I'd read. By the way, the guy who covers FAU football, who Ruskin and Zach are going to have on their show later on tonight on this very station, he says Kiffin's gone, that he's going to be done in his own opinion, and he's covered him for these last 2 or 3 years. So if you're Lane Kiffin and now if it's really some sort of a sweepstakes between Arkansas and Ole Miss, That makes these division rivals even more rivalry-like.
Oh, yeah. You get the chance to go up against Saban again. I think it was Jason McIntyre, who's a national guy for Fox Sports, said he was circling on the calendar when Alabama travels to the Grove next year. And obviously Alabama would also be traveling to Arkansas, so if he ended up at one of those schools, you get a Saban-Kiffin matchup, which I know, regardless of what he says, regardless of how he would present the game to media, he cares a heck of a lot about that football game, because let's not forget, Jalen Hurts' freshman year, when he was the OC, when he had accepted the FAU job, Nick Saban thought he was spending too much time assembling his staff down there in Boca, so he sent him off. Sark coached the national championship game. They sucked on offense, and they lost that football game. So I guarantee you, regardless of what he says, Phil, there's a little bit of revenge factor underlying that football game that he would absolutely, regardless of what school, want to beat Nick Saban more than any other game on his schedule.
And that's one reason why you want to come back to the SEC West. I think there's no doubt about that. Look, I mean, Kiffin is at least, I don't know, I mean, we say these things about him. We don't know this person. But he does seem like someone who likes attention and does like the idea of being a big man on campus. I don't care what the lifestyle is like in Boca Raton. Unless it's the University of Miami circa 1980 through 2004 or 5, then South Florida is not where it's at for a college football coach looking to make waves, because the waves that are coming in off the ocean are a lot larger than any wave you can make as a football coach at Florida Atlantic. You can make much larger waves amongst any school in the SEC West, whether it's the bottom feeders in Arkansas or whether it's the sixth-place team in Ole Miss. He's gone from FAU, and this is his chance to get back where he wants to be.
Well, let me ask you something, Phil. I know we're coming up on a break, but do you think he would gain more attention from being the head coach of Ole Miss or the head coach of Arkansas? I don't know if we've asked that question yet. And I know that they have to compete within the state against Mississippi State, but I think that's a question that also needs to be asked, because it seems like you're trending towards the idea that he still wants the attention, he still wants to be looked at, he still wants to be very popular. Well, that could be a big factor in playing this decision. I think that probably would favor Arkansas, right? Because you're the it guy, not only in the football program, but the entire state itself.
You know where I come in on. That's exactly what I'm saying here. And it's, at Arkansas, you don't have to share Division I Power 5 football with another team. You do in Mississippi. And maybe that reason alone, you're going to get more attention at Arkansas. But I think Lane Kiffin's going to get attention when he comes back to the SEC, no matter where it is.
Regardless of where he ends up. And I think it's going to be warranted. People are clamoring for it. National guys, local SEC guys, they want this to happen. Just curious, we got to wait a few days to see if it ultimately does, Phil.
Before we do that, Ty, why don't we crack open a nice cold Coors Light? We'll have to do that after the break,
yeah,
okay?
After the break.
Yeah, my clock isn't working here. All right, back after this.
Segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture. Here at Frank Rowe Furniture, for the month of December, is offering no sales tax and free delivery. What a wonderful gift for Christmas to our customers. We carry many made-in-the-USA products, including Catnap, Best Home Furnishings, Union Furniture, Affordable Furniture, and Speed Queen Laundry. We offer several financing options, including in-house no-credit check financing. Merry Christmas from Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey, this is Ed with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Searching for stocking stuffers for the runners in your life? We have lots of options including socks, headbands, shoelaces, water bottles, gloves, hats, and more. Want to buy them a pair of shoes but not sure about size or model? A gift card is always the perfect size. And you're not just giving a card, you're giving an experience. They'll receive the personal attention and True Grit fit we're known for. Find the ultimate gift today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
It's cold outside. Did you know many natural gas appliances can operate even when the power is out? Natural gas fireplaces, gas logs, space heaters, ranges, grills, outdoor lights, and backup generators will operate when you need them the most. Install efficient, safe, and reliable natural gas appliances today. It's the right choice. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com to experience the benefits of natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Hogs need a bucket here. Joe drives the baseline to the basket, throws it down with a left hand. Wow! Isaiah Joe with the offhand. We hadn't seen that.
Mike Leach not going to be the head coach at Arkansas. Signs a 5-year extension at Washington State. Ole Miss reported now as a possible landing spot for Lane Kiffin. It is utter craziness as far as 2019 coaching searches again. And Ty Richardson, what do you say you don't have to go through this again for a good long time? I was just producing a show during the search that led to the hiring of Chad Morris, so I didn't have to talk about it all the time. Mm-hmm. I just got to sit there in the studio and pick my nose and say, "Gosh, I'm really happy we don't have to talk about this myself." But this has got to be tiring to go through if you're hosting a show in Arkansas now 2 times in 3 years with the same sort of smoke signals set up. And never quite knowing what to believe. But essentially all the dominoes will fall in place, and sometime this weekend, early next week, you're going to know who the coach is, and then you start talking about who that coach is and not who might be the coach.
I was talking to Bob before he came on the program, and he said that he was planning on going to Bowling Green, but the coaching search, I think Tom Murphy's also taking a little time off. He can't really afford to, because what if something breaks and he's in Bowling Green, Kentucky? He's got to get back to Fayetteville. This is just what everyone's mind is on time. I know that this coaching search gets a little stale at some point in time, but that's what everyone wants to know about. They want to know every little detail, every breaking news bit that is either big or small concerning these prospective Arkansas football coaches who you think have a realistic chance of getting the job. And I think that it's been absolutely wild. And it's even been more hiding. The basketball one was obviously hiding. Mike Anderson issue with him being a former assistant coach, takes the head coach job at Arkansas. People still really like Mike. You're having to deal with that. And now this, because it's football, it's that much more appetizing for fans. They want every single detail thrown their way, know about it, because they want to be as up-to-date as they can. So they try and pay attention as much. And I'm just curious how much longer. Is it pretty much set in stone that Sunday morning, Sunday mid-afternoon, or Saturday night, they're going to announce this thing and have a press conference on Monday? That's how I'm feeling about this, Phil. But sure. I don't know if it's going to happen.
You're going to be waiting with bated breath once the conference championship games are done on Saturday. I mean, you'll have some fun games to watch. The fourth spot in the college football playoff polls up for grabs. Georgia needs a win in the SEC championship game to get that, and they certainly would if they beat LSU. And And then there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 of these coaches that are working somewhere else.
Yeah.
When it all comes done, because there are some other jobs open. Florida State is going to get somebody. Mizzou's going to get somebody. Here's one of the, and I think we brought this up with Bob a couple of weeks ago. So nobody's heard from Chad Morris. Nothing. Nada. He hasn't said a thing. We haven't seen him even quoted in any media source. He hasn't tweeted anything. And for somebody that we all, we talked a lot about what felt, I guess, for a moment there like some social media prowess, nothing. And he was just retweeting things throughout the month of October, not really saying anything of his own. He hasn't said a darn thing. And, it's interesting because, so who was fired right around the same time as Morris was? Willie Taggart. Taggart issued a tweet with a public thank you to Florida State Athletics the day after he was let go, and has still been active, even active in the same way you might expect Chad Morris to be on social media, by pumping up his son, who's a high school football player. But Taggart's been out there. Odom, with Barry Odom, he put a statement out on his Twitter account thanking Missouri. Said he'll be rooting for the Tigers no matter what. I mean, it makes sense. He played there.
Has Matt Luke done anything?
Matt Luke hasn't said anything.
Okay.
And I mean, you would have thought he'd be in the same boat as Odom, as a former player at his alma mater. But I also think that part of the thought here is, we brought this up with Bill King yesterday. If his job really rested on the thought of the fake pee episode in the end zone, if that's really what came down to him staying, or at least having an opportunity to stay, because I'm forgetting the name of the wide receiver for Ole Miss who did that.
Say that one more time.
The Ole Miss wide receiver who did the fake pee in the Egg Bowl this last week.
Should have been DK Metcalf.
Well, Metcalf was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
This was, I'm forgetting this kid's name, but he didn't lose the game for them necessarily because, well, he couldn't have won the game for them. That's the best way to put it. It's like Bill Buckner with the Red Sox. If Buckner picks up that ground ball, Game 6, 1986, it's no guarantee the Red Sox win. They just possibly get out of the inning and go to extra innings where maybe they end up losing anyway because they were the Red Sox at that point.
Jackson from Harrison texted on the Cherokee City hotline. He says Elijah Moore.
That's who
the
it
wide
was.
receiver is.
All right, so it was Elijah Moore. So I mean, that would have just tied the game if they make the extra point. So again, it's no guarantee that Mississippi wins and therefore Matt Luke keeps his job. But if that's really what it came to, I wouldn't be issuing many public statements either, except the thought in the back of my mind is I'm never gonna look at the dog the same way again.
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think the idea that Chad Morris hasn't put anything out there on social media kind of ups the ante and ups the crowd in the line of thinking that he really didn't care about his time with Arkansas, which I don't believe. But the not having his family live here with Mrs. Paula and Chandler, and then just people just assuming that he was wants to go back to Texas and stuff. This idea, it adds to it. It's not necessarily true, Phil, but it plays into the idea that he really didn't care about his time at Arkansas. He's going to take the buyout and go. Again, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you what it adds to the idea of. So now you're wondering, is he actually going to put something out there? Is this never going to happen? And I think that's an interesting question to ask, because you're bringing up the point that not only him, but Willie Taggart and some others that are very active on social media. Chad Morris is very active on social media, so you would think that he would put out some sort of statement. Doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be paragraphs, but even the slightest thing, but we haven't seen that yet. So I'm curious. The only thing I've seen relating to Chad Morris, Phil, is what I told you about Bruce Feldman possibly speculating that he could be a good fit at Texas as an OC, and then also a picture of him and his son Chandler when he was at Highland Park and he was dressed in Scott's gear from head to toe. But outside of that, I hadn't seen anything. So I'm wondering, when's the next time Chad Morris pops up? When's the next occurrence that we see on social media concerning the former Arkansas head football coach? Is it him getting another job? Is it him putting out a statement? What's going to happen next?
Well, when he does say something, I have a feeling there might not be something nice to say. The guy that gets fired in the middle of his second season. But on the other hand, from the things that he said, I think over the 2 years, I'm not sure if it matters all that much to me what he says about Arkansas moving forward, because that's what it's about. It's about moving forward.
And should it be expected, Phil? Should it be expected that he says something? Because that's, I think, another question that needs to be asked. Do you think if you get fired from a job that you should issue a statement thanking? I think Arkansas fans, because unfortunately sometimes you're entitled, you think, oh, well, he had the luxury and he had the privilege of coaching the Arkansas football program, so he should put out something. But should that be expected, do you think?
I don't think it's expected. It's just a nice touch.
Okay.
You know, I mean, in some places, maybe you would feel like it's expected, like Bob Davie, who's at New Mexico for, like 6 or 7 years. It's a long time to be a head coach. Maybe you would expect something. He did, say, issue statements through the newspapers, and for a guy like Chris Peterson stepping down at a successful program, yes, you would expect some sort of a public statement. Taggart saying something nice about Florida State a day after he's fired in the middle of his second season, that's a little bit of a shock. And that, I think the same way about Chad Morris. By the way, have you seen, speaking of fired head coaches and public statements, Steve Adazio's not saying anything, the former Boston College coach. Have you seen some of the stuff that his former players have said about him?
Oh, said about him?
They are practically doing handsprings and handstands celebrating his firing.
They're that happy. I saw a former player come out a little thing on Twitter and kind of rip him, but I didn't know it was multiple guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's stories like, players coming back for alumni days or being on the sidelines at football and him not even acknowledging him, like somebody sticking a hand out to shake hands and he wouldn't even look him in the eyes. The story you're referring to where, an NFL player made liked an Instagram post that was critical about his ability to run the offense, and somebody at Boston College Athletics noted that, and they essentially banned him from the program and tried to get him cut from the Atlanta Falcons due to this. I mean, it's some crazy stuff. At least they're not going to be saying that stuff about Chad Morris.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, it is Conference Championship weekend, and that means you need an ice-cold beer to pair with all that tailgate food. Coors Light, that's what you need to get. Cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged, the absolute most refreshing beer. It's got that cold activated can. When you see your beer turn as cold as the Rockies when the mountains turn blue, Phil, what are you supposed to do?
You go for two.
Exactly right. Coors Light, made to chill.
We go to a break. We come back with a cherry on the top. Stay tuned for halftime homework.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
Deer season, duck season, and the holiday seasons are here. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear and gift items for all the season. Firearms, footwear, archery, waterfowl, fishing, cold weather clothing, workwear, work boots, casual shoes and boots, hiking boots, and hundreds of great gift ideas for the holiday season. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
This holiday season, give your loved ones the best present a sports fan can get. An excuse to drink beer, eat wings, and watch games all day. Buy $25 in gift cards and pocket a $5 bonus to Buffalo Wild Wings for yourself. While you're being brilliant, ask us about our party menu. Don't miss the fun part, the party part. Be the host with the most and serve Buffalo Wild Wings while basking in the glory of nailing. 'Tis the season for wings and cheer.
Watch out! It's the sideline! The Jet! Touchdown, Arkansas!
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler & Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Just call 484-9888. And Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 and online kohlergreen.com.
Save up to $2,700 or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The holiday sale is going on right now. Every hot tub in stock is on sale with over 60 luxury spas to choose from, and they start at just $26.95. Right now is the time. This includes delivery, cover, and startup chemicals. Stay warm and cozy this winter in your brand new hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. It's the perfect gift for you and your family. And right now, up to $2,700 off or no interest for 5 years on a brand new Hot Springs hot tub. And as part of the holiday sale, check out the full line of Big Green eggs and accessories at Burton Pools and Spas. It's the holiday sale going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Out of the shotgun now as Cornelius comes into the backfield here for second and goal. And they give him the ball. Cornelius scores it! What a call!
Cherry on the top today on Halftime. We'll get to halftime homework in a minute. A good point made up by Justin on our Cherokee Casino hotline about the Mike Leach contract extension. It's a revolving contract, automatic 5-year extension, or automatic extension to a point. According to the ESPN report, Adam Rittenberg writing, the two sides are picking up the rollover clause in Leach's contract that keeps the agreement at 5 years. So Washington State trying to keep their coach, paying him now $4 million a year from 2020 through 2024. With a one-time retention payment of $750,000 if he's coaching the Cougars after 2020. It still does seem that this even if it's a revolving extension, might keep him at Washington State. But what if the first choice, and if Lane Kiffin is the first choice, what if he now chooses to end up at Ole Miss? I guess it would make sense if it's one or the other. Our man Bill King, who is dialed into the Florida State fan base, said that his sources, Josh Newberg, says that there's absolutely no talk about Lane Kiffin to Florida State. So I think he's looking to get back to Power 5. I think he wants to be in the SEC. It would make sense. Is it Arkansas or Ole Miss? And it's not going to be Mizzou.
I just think it's funny when you have all these different sources coming out with coaching searches. It's not just the Arkansas job, but various jobs across college football where people have insight that is totally contradicting one another. And that's where it really gets tough because you get different information from different people, different sources, different outlets you follow. So that makes it that much more confusing. And with all these contradictions concerning the Arkansas football job as of late, people who are paying attention to this coaching search, either casually or really in depth, are just getting more and more confused because they keep hearing different things. Or it seems like the train is piling up on Lane Kiffin that more and more people think he's going to be a coach. Well, what happens if he doesn't end up the coach? There's a slew of different things that are going on behind the scenes right now that no one knows about except a handful of people. And you know that Hunter Yurachek, he talked about his statement with confidentiality. So it just makes me makes me very skeptical when people say they have an inside track on who's going to be the next football coach in Arkansas, based on what we saw with Eric Musselman and based on what Hunter Yurachek has continuously stressed when it comes to this football coaching search.
All right, it is time to get to what we usually close a Thursday show out with, and I'm so proud of Ty because he did his halftime homework without it being assigned.
As if.
I don't trust this kid any further than I could throw him.
I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Get out of my class.
Out! Get out!
I was still thinking of going back to school.
It's just a movie from the 80s.
I am dangerous.
It's time for halftime homework, presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
No, it's not just a movie from the 80s. It's a movie from the 90s. And it's not just any movie from the 90s. It's Tommy Boy. And, I mean, I would have assigned this to you. In fact, I thought I brought this up the last time we did halftime homework, which was 2 weeks ago. And, by the way, halftime homework brought to you by Breeden RV and Van Buren. The year-end clearance sale continues. Pick your deal, either sales tax paid, no payment for 6 months, holiday cash back, or more for your trade. Whatever works for you works for Breeden RV. With a new or used RV, and you'll get exclusive free maintenance for life at Breeden with any new RV purchase. Breeden RV, Alma Highway in Van Buren, BreedenRVs.com. So I think we were talking about Dan Aykroyd, right? You didn't know who Dan Aykroyd was.
Correct.
And so once I said he's Ray Stantz in the Ghostbusters, I think you knew who I was talking about then. And then somebody also...
I haven't seen that either.
You hadn't seen that one,
No.
right? But he's also Zelensky in Tommy Boy. I might be getting the name wrong. But he's the guy who takes over the auto parts maker that Tommy Boy's father runs. So I was about to assign this to you, but our friend Matty Travis, who, of course, produces The Morning Rush, took it upon himself. He's like my assistant professor here. I want to thank Matty T for doing some work for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Matty T, again, I mentioned this early on in the show. He just comes in at some point last week, and it's like, hey, he gives me Tommy Boy and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's like, hey, man, you need to watch these. And just so I don't seem that ignorant, you got to remember I'm 24 years old. Matty T's 36, John's 31, Phil's 42, and Tommy's 43. So most of the conversation when it comes to older talk about pop culture, I'm at a loss for words because simply I don't know what they're talking about half the time. That's why this segment is the most important segment, not only on the show, but in my life, because I actually learned something where I can actually talk to older gentlemen, older ladies about some of the stuff that they watched and talk about back in the day. And this was a movie that I'd heard about, but I'd never seen, and I was really glad I did, Phil.
You loved it, didn't you?
It was great,
I don't see how you don't enjoy Tommy Boy because you get a lot of that Chris Farley physical humor that he was known for. You get a lot of those crazy moments where his face is as red as a beet. And one of the things that was great about Farley was his on-screen relationship with David Spade, both in SNL and in the movies, and with Adam Sandler on SNL. He just seemed to be so likable and so beloved. And it's, his idol was John Belushi. And Belushi and he pretty much died from the same thing. It's heartbreaking, too, because Farley was a natural comic and left us way too early.
Yeah, and it's since you mentioned Sandler, too, I haven't listened to it yet, but apparently Sandler got on Howard Stern the other day and told him, the audience, why him and Farley got fired from SNL. So I need to listen to that bit. I haven't done that yet. That's kind of an assignment I'm going to assign myself outside of the show, but apparently it's a pretty funny story. Apparently it's a riot, Phil.
Well, I'm assigning you to go to YouTube, or in one case, just the NBC website. I've actually put the links to each of these skits on our rundown. So all you got to do is point, click, and watch,
And
just
go.
like a millennial, and just laugh your head off. So, all right, this is about a 90-second clip. I know you've seen this one, Ty, but this is just great Chris Farley. And the fact that it has Phil Hartman in it, too, is another SNL comedian who died
dad?
early. He's the dad. That's another heartbreaking one, especially the way he died. He was shot and killed by his ex-wife. But here is motivational speaker Matt Foley.
Your father and I came up with a brilliant idea to give you kids some direction. A motivational speaker.
Yeah, one of those guys who speaks to big groups at high schools and churches. Okay, his name is Matt Foley. Now, he's been down in the basement drinking coffee for about the last 4 hours, and he should be all ready to go. I'll call him up.
Now, as your father probably told you, my name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. Now, let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about. First off, I am 35 years old, I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river. Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat. You're going to end up eating a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river.
Now, one of the great things that I'd forgotten about that skit, you always love the skits on SNL where the actors couldn't help but laugh, and he's right there with his lips right beside David Spade's face. All Spade can do is cover his face to stop from laughing, and Christina Applegate, who must have been the host that show, is sitting next to him on the couch. She's got her hair covering her face because she can't stop laughing.
I think that it's just that's the not the evolution, the height of comedy when you're doing a live skit and it's so funny that the other cast members can't help but from chuckling and laughing a little bit. So
I haven't watched SNL in a while, and I think things have changed there a little bit. The SNL of Farley, Spade, Rob Schneider, Mike Myers, Sandler, that was my SNL. So I've put 5 skits up there. One is Matt Foley, motivational speaker, and I know you've seen that. I don't think you've seen the Chippendale skit where he's in a
Swayze.
With Patrick Swayze. That's one of the top 10 skits of all time on SNL. So I've got that. I've got Bill Swirsky's Superfans, The Bears, with George Wendt and Mike Myers on there. I've got his Chris Farley Show interview with Paul McCartney, where he plays the nervous talk show host who gets angry at himself and slaps himself in the face throughout it. And then there's the physical comedy aspect of Farley, too, where he didn't have to say anything, and he was still funny. Adam Sandler's song Lunch Lady Land, in which Farley plays the lunch lady and is prancing around him while Sandler is singing this song on stage, wearing a lunch lady outfit. So you watch those 5. Tell me your favorite next week.
I'm really excited. I think this is going to be an entertaining week. And, I got to give John Neighbors credit because when I told him I hadn't seen Tommy Boy, the first thing he showed me, Phil, was that Matt Farley down by the river, or excuse me, Chris Farley, sorry, down by the river skit. So I'm excited to watch these other. And like you said, this was when SNL was actually funny and not the crap that they put on Saturday Night Today.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, and it's not a political thing, by the way. I can't stay up. I can't stay awake for it. It's just almost impossible.
Old head, old head.
Exactly right. That's right. Chris Farley was still on that. I would be staying up. That I would tell you for sure. All right, stay up with us tomorrow for halftime for Coaching Search Day number 5. We can't wait. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out. Get a darn coach.